Okay, now we have created the CSS, and now we are going to code with jQuery, and then implement the slider. Now before implementing the slider, I just missed a couple of other CSS property. The first one is about the all slider. Now this one should be taken as relative. Position should be relative. Okay, and yeah, that's the only one that I missed. Now there's a property called left. Okay, left, I'll put it as plus 50 pixel. Now if I open Firefox and refresh it, so what happens is, if I open this Firebug and then edit the CSS property of all slider of the ID all slider all slider, and then edit this left property, you can see that the images are slowly moving towards the left. Now and the next image will follow it. So as this value increases, the images will slowly shift towards the left. So this is what we are trying to implement in our slider. So we'll, for the time being, we'll just ignore it. Now we'll type in, okay, now we'll open a script tag, type equals text bar JavaScript, and then we'll close the script tag, and then document dot ready, and then I'll type in a function. Now hope you know all these things, because I've already told about all those things in the previous tutorials. Now what this does is, once the document is ready, it will call a function called a slider. So we need to write a function which is having the name slider. Okay, now we'll close this, and here, just for the sake of checking if it is working fine, we'll give an alert. Save this, go to Firefox, refresh the page. Yes, we do have an alert, so it is working fine till here. Now the first thing that we need to find out is count the number of images that we have. So the way we count is dollar. I have an ID of image dot length. So what this does is, it will count the number of class image is present. Okay, I mean, it has 4 class images present, so the output should be 4. So we'll just pass this value to a variable var count. I'll call it count, and then alert that counter. Alert I'll go to Firefox, refresh the page. It gives me 4. That is exactly what I want. Now the next thing that I want to do is type in the animate code. Okay, dollar the property or the div that I am going to target is this div, which is all slider. So I'm going to animate all slider. A function. Okay, before that I just forgot the syntax of animate. I'll just open okay, I'll do one thing. This was something which I have done earlier, so I'll just check. Okay, animate. I'll simply copy this code and paste it over here. Okay, now what I've done over here is yeah, I'll just delete it, or I'll do one thing. Okay, we'll just delete the entire thing and just, okay, so dot animate. Okay, so inside curly brackets we can have many parameters that we want to pass. So the first thing that we want to pass is left. I want this to be something like, say, 150 pixels. Okay, so it should be in inverted commas, and it should be minus, and then I put a comma, or not enough commas and all. So the next thing is I should specify the time with which it should move. I'm giving it as 1000, and callback function is not there. So I'll go back to Firefox, refresh the page, and what happens is I have an error. Okay, we'll see what is error. Okay, this is where the error occurs. Okay, now I'll go back over here, and I have a comma. I'm supposed to put a comma over here. So okay, so this moves. So the whole idea is it will select the ID of all slider, and it will implement the animate function. Now what the animate function is going to do is that it will shift the left parameter of a CSS parameter of all slider by minus 150 pixels, and this is done in 1000 milliseconds or 1 second. So that is what it is being done. So mainly that is what is done. Now if I put something like, say, 400 pixels, okay, so what happens is that instead of, okay, it moves 400 pixel. Now if I put 600 pixel and refresh the page, so I have one slide moving, right? So this should be a variable part. So what I do over here is I put a plus sign, again a plus sign, and I put left value. Okay, now we'll declare a variable left value equals 0, and okay, now the next thing that we want to do is okay, now since we have 4 images, this left value can go up to 4 into 600, which is equal to 24,000. okay, I mean 2400, oh sorry, 2400. So what I have to do is I have to create a new variable. Okay, I'll create it over here, so because if I create it over here, it is global. So if I have another function over here, I can call this variable in that function also. So variable like, I'll call it as count. So count is 0. I mean count is not possible. Okay, present count. I'll call it as present count because count has already been selected. So, and yeah, the next thing that I want to do is I want to multiply this present count with 600, so that I'll get a value which is same as left value. Okay, now the way we are getting that is now present count will simply show you, okay, I'll write the code and then explain it. Now the next thing that I want to do is nothing but increase the value of left value. So when I, okay, it is not the present count, increase the present count. So present count equals present count plus 1. Okay, so yeah, now the next thing that I want to do is check if the present count is greater than or equal to 0. If present count is greater than or equal to 4, I just want this thing to be back to 0. So Now present count will indicate the count of the count of the images that has been presently displayed. So there are only 4 images. Now suppose if it is equal to or greater than 4, then it has to be shifted back to 0th position. So if this is greater than 4, then present count should be 0. Okay, now I have another function called set timeout. I'll go to Google and then type in set timeout JavaScript. Okay, so in W3 schools I have it. Okay, over here, yeah, set timeout. So I'll put a set timeout function over here. What it does is it will schedule a particular function after a particular time, which means if I want to call the slider again, I can call it over here. Okay, and then it will call after every, say, 200 milliseconds. So we'll just go back to Firefox and refresh the page. So what we have is yeah, so we have like this. Now it is the 4th image, and it will come back to the 1st, and it will go 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It will come back to 1st. Okay, now I know most of you are having some doubts again with this. I'll explain it step by step one more time. It is not that easy because I've already created it over here. I was capable of doing this, but then it took some time for me to really make this. So the first thing that we did over here is we simply checked if the document is ready, and if it is ready, call the function which is slider. So before we call the function, before the function is executed, 2 values are simply declared. The first value is so it is supposed to be declared over here. Okay, no problem, we'll just keep it here. The first value is left value and the present count. Now the present count is this is present count number 0, this is present count number 1, this slide will show present count number 3, and this will be present count number 4. The last image will be present count number 3. So it can go up to 3, and it cannot go more than 3. Okay, so if we are counting from 0, so it should be 3. Yeah, now once the slider starts, the left value should be present count into 600. So present count is 0, so 0 into 600 will be 0. So the count, okay, let that count be there. Okay, now the next thing that I want to tell is animate function. So it will animate all sliders to a value of left value, which is 0 into 600, which is 0 pixels. So when the first image loads over here, we have a value of 0 pixel. So when the first image loads over here, we have a value of 0 pixel, then it becomes minus 600, then it becomes minus 1200, it becomes minus 1800, then back to 0. So this is what is happening. Now if the present count is greater than or equal to 4, okay, if it is greater than or equal to 4, it should reset its present count as 0, and then again call the function called slider. So ultimately what we have is we have something like this, which count from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then reset to back to 0. Okay, now suppose if I put it as 3 here, what will happen? I'll just, now this is going to be my first, second image, third image, and then it won't go for the 4th image, so it should be 4. Okay, so this is the first image, second image, third image, and here comes the 4th image, then it will go back to the first image. So this is a basic slider that is done using animate function. So yeah, so hope you learned something from this tutorial. My name is Hari, and thank you for watching this tutorial. Have a great day. Thank you.